Some things to keep in mind before we begin. Number 1, there are chapters in this video, so feel free to skip ahead a chapter if it gets too boring or rambly or whatever. Number 2, much of this is my own personal and nitpicky fussy opinion, so please don't get offended if I say something like, pudding keycaps are
irredeemable garbage.
Number 3, all pertinent links will be in the description. Cool? Cool. The contestants in today's show are Tai-Hao's OEM Profile ABS Double Shot Set in Batman colors, HK Gaming's Cherry Profile PBT Dice Sub Black on White Set, and Yongqiu's Cherry Profile PBT Dice Sub Japanese Set. I would say these are in the low mid-range of keycaps in terms of price. First, a word or two about Yongqiu. The keyboard scene in China is kind of cloaked in a veil of mystery, partly because of the language barrier, but mostly because of the authoritarian firewall surrounding their internet. From what I can surmise, Yongqiu is a keycap maker out of China, and they're responsible for a lot of popular keycap sets, including this Cyberpunk set, these K-pop themed sets, and a lot of GMK clone sets. I want to digress from this digression to talk about this particular set that Yongqiu also offers. It's PBT double shot in a very common mold, it seems. I've frequently seen black on white and white on black sets of it. I've seen sets in Olivia, Iris, Night Runner, Red Samurai, and other GMK clone colorways. NovelKeys had this in white on black, black on white, and Vaporwave for $50 a set. And recently, Kinetic Lab started selling the black on white set for $60. The popularity of this mold frankly baffles me. Perhaps it's just me being choosy and fussy and nitpicky, but I think that this is a really ugly set. The font sizes are all over the place. Just look at the backspace legend compared to the insert one. There are also no symbols on the modifiers on this, which I personally don't like, except for the menu key. Little guy is super out of place. I also hate this 4 with the gap on the top, but that's a pet peeve. Whenever I see a white on black or black on white set for sale, I always look at the 4 first to see if it's the ugly mold. If you absolutely must have this set, get it from Yongqiu, where it's at least cheap at $30 or 1,499 pesos. Okay, digression's over. Part 1. Materials and Construction. Tai-Hao has the roughest texture of the 3. Both Yongqiu and HK are quite smooth, but HK is the smoothest. I don't really have a preference here. None of them are unpleasant to the touch, and you don't really notice the texture when you're typing. HK and Yongqiu seem to be about even in terms of thickness. Tai-Hao is strange because it seems to vary in thickness between keycaps, and sometimes even within the same keycap. I have a south-facing keyboard, so there's no problem with interference on any of these sets. But when you turn the keys upside down on the Cherry Profile sets, there is noticeable interference on rows 2, 3, and 4. When I was switching out the Yongqiu set for the HK, I noticed the telltale sign of interference on the bottom of the keycaps. A black line where the switch housing hits the keycap. I initially thought that this was due to my switches, but I realized that this was from the previous owner, since I bought the Yongqiu set second-hand. The previous owner must have had a north-facing keyboard. Let's listen to the interference. Part 2. Overall Aesthetic. The double shot legends are clean and crisp on the Tai-Hao, as is the dye sublimation on the other 2 sets. On Yongqiu though, there are a couple of minor problems with alignment. One of the novelties is not centered properly. The delete legend is too long for a 1U key, so it goes over the right margin. There are probably some more smaller imperfections, but even my nitpicky eyes can't see them. The Tai-Hao set uses a clean typeface for its legends, although the lines are quite thin. The Yongqiu set seems to be using a bold font, which looks very nice, but does make the hole in the lowercase letter e almost non-existent, which does bother me. The HK set's typeface is generally clean, but I do have a few issues with it. The uppercase G in particular haunts me. It looks like it's cut off at the right side, and I cannot unsee it. The quotation marks key looks like a power outlet. The accent above the 6 and the less than and greater than symbols are huge and out of place. The colon and semicolon are weird because all 4 shapes are equally spaced, making them look like part of one symbol instead of 2. Part 3. Kitting. The Tai-Hao set I have only has the 104 keys necessary for a standard full-size layout, making it incompatible with non-standard layouts. But looking at Tai-Hao's website, it seems like there are a lot of options for kitting a Tai-Hao set. Both HK and Yongqiu are a full kit, encompassing many layouts, including non-standard ones. Some notable kitting decisions. HK has ISO inner and pipe. Yongqiu has a 2U shift. HK's extra spacebar is 7U while Yongqiu's is 6.5U. Hey, it's Future Kaloy. I'm gonna be dropping in from time to time because that handsome dumbbutt, Past Kaloy, keeps forgetting stuff. So there are a few more notable inclusions in each of these kits. Tai-Hao has this gross yellow row 1 rubber keycap, this white row 1 key bearing their logo, and this white row 4 1.25U key. That does indeed read Tai-Hao, and if you run that through Google Translate, it gives you a grade. Wow. Yongqiu has a few row 1 novelties. I'm not sure what they're supposed to be though. If you run this one through Google Translate, you get full width, half width. I don't know, man. And HK has blue accent keys. They've got escape, NC enter, ISO enter, and numpad enter. It's kind of sad though, the two of those are keys that most people won't even use. I wish they'd done backspace or the arrow keys, or both, instead. Make sure you're aware what non-standard keys your keyboard will need and what the kit you're buying includes. Part 4. Sound. In terms of sound, Tai-Hao is very noticeably higher pitched than the other two. And I know they're all made of plastic, but Tai-Hao sounds plasticky while the other two do not. There are probably several factors contributing to this. Materials, ABS versus PBT, thickness, and also the profile. OEM is taller, maybe making it more echoey? First, we'll listen to the Tai-Hao set on its own, and then we'll listen to the two PBT sets back to back since they sound very similar. And then all three back to back while typing, and then also on the same keyboard. Did you notice the difference between the two PBT sets? When I swapped out the Yongqiu set for the HK one, I immediately noticed that the sound got a bit higher pitched. It wasn't a huge difference, but I definitely missed the thok of the Yongqiu set. Okay, so Pascaloy sounds very sure of himself, the rube. When I was filming the test with keycaps from all three sets on the same board, I felt like I was losing my mind. I could not tell anymore which of the two PBT keycaps sounded thockier. It felt like it changed with position on the keyboard and with how I pressed, which does make a lot of sense. But I do maintain that the sound difference when typing is noticeable and that Yongqiu does sound deeper, thus more satisfying. Part 5. Value for money. The Yongqiu set is definitely a huge bargain. It's the cheapest of the bunch, but also the best looking and best sounding. But be wary that there are a lot of Yongqiu sets, and so the price range is pretty wide. This particular set is quite affordable, but they do offer some expensive sets as well. I've linked this exact set on Shopee Philippines and AliExpress, both from official Yongqiu stores as far as I can tell. If you buy from Tai-Hao's website and get the kit options to make it comparable to the other two sets, it's about on par with the Yongqiu set in terms of price. I don't know what Pascaloy is talking about. A fully kitted Tai-Hao set is significantly more expensive than the Yongqiu set. The HK set is about on par with Yongqiu in terms of what it offers, but it is more expensive. It also sounds and looks worse in my opinion. If you don't mind the sound and the visual gripes that I have, then it's a very nice set for the price. Part 6. Conclusion. I've learned from this comparison that much like Daddy Taeha Kim, sound is the most important factor for me, and Yongqiu sounds best. In terms of look, Yongqiu also wins. The issues with the boldness and the alignment are not as egregious in my eyes as the HK set's issues with its typeface. I would probably even pick Tai-Hao in terms of look over HK. Tai-Hao is dead last in sound though, which puts it at dead last in this comparison. I am conflicted about this result as Yongqiu is a purveyor of clone keycap sets, and I don't support that practice. Yongqiu has also offered in the past a service whereby they will die sub your very own keycap set design. And I would really like to avail of this service, so I don't want to burn any bridges. I don't really feel good about this line of thinking either. I'm not even sure that this Japanese set I have is completely original. I mean, putting Hiragana sub-legends on a black on white set isn't something one can claim ownership to. But then some of the keys on this set seem to be very similar to keys on other Japanese themed sets. And I'm not sure that HK Gaming sets are all original. They have colorways featured in GMK sets, but these are pretty simple colorways like Muted and 9009. So where do we go from here? The next comparison would be with higher end ABS and PBT sets from Enjoy PBT. Speaking of Enjoy PBT, there's a set I've been eyeing since December of last year that's on group buy right now. ePBT RamenStop. Holy wow, it is beautiful and I want it so badly. It's actually priced very low compared to other Enjoy PBT group buy sets, but if I were to buy it, I would end up getting 3 novelty kits along with the base kit because have you seen them? It's still too much for me to justify right now. And I'd also love to try an SA set from DomiKey or MaxKey. And of course, the holy grail is GMK. As of now, these are a little too expensive for me to justify personally. Perhaps if this YouTube thing actually gains some traction. I'm hopeful. What do you guys think? Do you own any of these keycap sets? How do you feel about them? Do you agree with my sentiments? Do you think I'm too nitpicky? Let me know in the comments. And while you're at it, please like the video if you found it helpful, insightful, entertaining, or any other positive adjective. And if you want to see more of my content in the future, please consider subscribing and clicking the bell icon to enable notifications. Thank you so much for watching.